Hey guys, Rampage Tech here. I wanted to start off the video, or put this note at the beginning of the video saying that if you hear any mention of the program VMware or VMware Player, or you hear any steps involving that, please ignore it if you're installing on a different machine, like a different physical machine. For those installing on a physical machine, you do not need to bother with VMware. VMware is only a program that allows you to make a virtual PC, which is what I was using in this video for demonstration, and the steps were left in the video to inform others of how to install over the network using VMware if they don't have any other way. Thank you for watching, and hopefully this video is educational for y'all. Peace. Hey guys, what's up? Rampage Jake here. I'm going to make another video, this time explaining how to install Windows over the network. And this is going to be super easy. It's going to be a little longer than normal because this is going to require a couple bits of programs, and I'll leave the download link for the programs that I use in this video in the description. But I figure you guys are probably looking on how to do this, how to make it super simple, and I'm going to do that right quick. Just give me one moment to switch to my desktop scene. Okay. So installing Windows over the network is essentially just using one computer to boot another using either Wi-Fi, LAN, or however, as long as the two computers are connected through the same network. And what I like to use a little program called Serva here. Serva is a great utility that gives you all kinds of different servers. Now, if you go to download, if you download the non-supporter server version, you're only going to get a time limit and the max. You're only going to have limited boot options, such as only like maybe I believe 13-ish, I believe. And what it does is whenever you set your stuff in this, well, I'll explain all this. This is basically what it looks like, but I want to show you how to get it set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the internet here. We're going to go to Google, that's not how you spell Google, google.com, download Serva, and you want to look for vercod.com, because vercod.com is the hosting site for this here. And if you have the money, to pay for the Pro, go for the Pro. I highly recommend it. I used the Pro for my machine. I just have the non-supporter as well, so I can show you guys what it's like different between the two. But if you can spring for the Pro, go for it. It's always going to be worth its money. So here's what we're going to do. Once you have it downloaded, you want to make a new folder. And what I like to do is I like to make a folder on the drive. Unfortunately, this is not the original drive the program was on at the time, so I moved it to a folder, Serva. And then you're going to have these applications here, like just a small amount of stuff here. What you want to do is you want to go to Serva. I'm going to load my default one, and it's going to do its first boot stuff. What you want to do is you want to go to settings here. TFTP, you want to for boot, you need TFTP and DHCP both to be on. And what we need is TFTP server. Now the reason why my IP looks a little weird is because I'm going to be using a virtual machine, because I do not have another machine handy to test this boot process, or to install Windows with. It's the same, it's just I'm going to have to use a window capture to capture the other machine. Okay, so you need a TFTP. Bind it to the address that's used by all the other computers, usually 192.168.0 or 1 dot whatever. Unless you're on a VPN, then your address is subject to change. And then what you need to do is you need to do proxy DHCP here. Make sure you bind it to the adapter. Make sure same address. No MAC filtering. Next server will be automatic, because you want it to find the next server if it can. That way you can do this. All this down here you leave the same. You just hit OK. It's gonna ask you to be like, hey, you need to restart your computer. Whenever you restart your computer, go back to that folder. It's always a good idea to leave these open. And you're gonna have new folders here. And what you need to do is you need to, if you have Windows installation media, like say an ISO image, an actual CD, or you've obtained it through other forms, what we're going to do is we're going to take that, and what we're going to do here is we're just going to say, for instance, we're going to extract the files off of the CD or ISO image, and we're going to put them here in these two folders. Windows RAS, or WIA RAS, is for anything older than Windows XP Pro, or Windows XP, sorry. So Windows 98, 2K, ME, NT, all that would go here. But you're probably thinking, well, that's great, but what about Windows Vista 7, 8, 8.1, and 10? Well, they also go here. There's also a folder called, here, maybe I should move myself over. That would have been a smart move. Now there's going to be a folder here, and you're going to see all these folders here. What you're going to do is, if you have Windows 7 and Windows 8, you're going to copy the contents of that folder. You're going to make a folder, copy the contents from your CD, flash drive, USB drive, or anything, and copy it here into the folder. Make sure you name it appropriately so you know which one to come back to if the installer, or if the ISO or CD you burned or downloaded ends up becoming corrupted. Once you have it all set up and everything, you want to do your shares. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky, because it took me a while. Oh, and before I do my shares, Linux. Linux is really, really complicated for this to set up, so I highly recommend reading the tutorial for Linux on how to get it set up properly. But it's not really too complicated, unfortunately, or it's not too complicated. You don't have to share the folders like you do with both, but it's other stuff, and you need to modify some things. So continuing on, for WDS, you want to make you want to go down, properties, sharing, advanced sharing, and you want to click share this folder, and it's going to be like, oh hey, WIA WDS, and that's what it's going to name it as. What you need to do is you need to click add, and what it does is it's going to bring you up this share name thing and description. And what you need to do is go to your permissions before you rename it or anything, is set it to read, so everyone can read from your network. And just hit OK, and you're going to put in your name, you're going to put in the share name. I already have it shared, as you can tell, but it would be WIA underscore WDS underscore share, and then it would pop up here, and you would go select the other share and hit remove, and just hit OK and close. Now for RAS, it's a little different. RAS, you have to go properties on the root folder, which is on the server folder, sharing, advanced sharing, and it's going to be like, once you click share this folder, it's going to list it as server. We don't need it as server. What you need to do is you need to go to add permissions, and you want to remove everyone and make guest, and hit OK, and then make sure they have read. Now I already did this, so I'm not going to create another share, but you would label it WIA underscore RAS underscore share, permissions, see, guest. And once you have all that set, you want to just click, you want to restart your computer, not restart your computer, restart the program. It's going to run through its magnets. Now, don't be alarmed if it continues to go on and on. It makes like a lot of words here. It's going to do that. It's all right. It's just doing its job, trying to make sure everything's working properly. So I'm just going to minimize this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this program running here. Whoops. There we go. No, I didn't like that. I minimized Windows. Okay, so what we're going to do is now I'm going to use this program here to install. Before I do anything, I'm going to close this program to prove to you that I'm not, BSing. And we're going to start a virtual machine. We're going to go to my other scene here. As you can see, I'm capturing the Windows virtual machine here. And we're going to play the virtual machine. Oh wait, no, sorry, whoops. Yes, okay. So as you can see, the drive, or the disk image I'm using is formatted. Whoops, wrong scene. I'm gonna really label these. Power off. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is for those of you installing to a virtual machine, this part here doesn't apply to you, so if you can just skip past this part. But if you're installing over to a virtual machine, what you want to do is you want to click Create Virtual Machine, Installer ISO. We won't use that. We'll just say we'll install an ISO later, or operating system later. Microsoft Windows. Select here in the drop-down menu what you want to install. Do not use Hyper-V. Hyper-V will break this thing really quickly, so I recommend staying away from that. But say for instance, we're just going to install Windows 7 64-bit. Next. It's going to ask you where you want to save it. Just click Next. My personal preference is I like to keep all the virtual disks in a single file because it maximizes transfer speed if you're transferring to another disk. Splitting is fine if you're moving it to a different computer, but will, kill performance if you have a bigger disk like I do. You just click Next, and you're gonna and you see the hardware here. Well, we're gonna leave this the same here, but I already have a machine set up for virtual image. And what you want to do is you want to come in here, make sure the amount of RAM is below what your computer uses. So I recommend always checking Task Manager to see how much RAM you have left. I have 12 gigs, so I can easily use 4 gigs. I have a 4-core machine, and I usually check both these boxes just to improve performance. 60 gig auto detect. I keep this as auto detect even though I don't have a USB or CD-ROM plugged in, because it makes it super easy to it doesn't pop up any ISO images whenever I'm trying to do other stuff. Here's an important step. If you're installing to a virtual machine, you want to set this as NAT. And with this, you're going to want to go here and go here. Wait, wrong thing. Status, details, and you want to get the IP for that one, or for your virtual machine, which will usually, and then you go back to Serva, start it, get the IP address from Serva, or give the IP address to Serva, and go from there. So I'm going to switch to my other scene here. As you can see, still have the desktop. Actually, I'm going to do this right quick. Add video capture device, add existing video capture, okay. We're going to just set this right over here. So, yeah, I wanted to make myself in the video here. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to hit play once we have our stuff created. And it's going to be like, yeah. Okay, so now it's going to look for a DHCP server. This is where server comes. Oh, wait a second. I almost forgot to start server. Derp. That would have been bad. Hopefully it finds it. If not, I'll restart it. Come on. You know you want to find it. Oh, there it goes. We're going to install Windows 7 because it's easier to use, because I like to demonstrate this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go here. It's going to load the files. And as you can tell here on the side here, I'm going to release my mouse here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to switch back to the scene here of my main desktop monitor. And as you can see, it's sending the files over. This is the file transfer protocol here, as it's sending over. And it's writing to memory on this drive here, or on this machine here. So we're just going to go back to the log. We're going to go back to scene 2 so we can see clearly what's going on here. And as you can see, it's booting Windows like it would from an install CD now. Sorry. And you're booting Windows from memory at this point now. Serva is now just here to transfer the files and do the information. So now it's going to load the net driver for everything. And it's going to install the net driver. It does take some time. Once again, this isn't a virtual machine. As you can see, there's two. There's a virtual machine here that I'm using to test this on, but it acts as a normal computer. This really is important. Make sure your user account has a password, otherwise this will completely just get angry with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit OK, and it's going to load up the Windows 7 setup. So we're just going to hit Next, Install Now, Setup is starting. That's great. Going to remind me later for that one. It does take some time to start because it's over the network, and yeah, it does take a little bit. Since install.web does not exist. Why does my install.web not exist? Okay, so apparently my Windows installation there is broken. No worries. I'll just restart the computer right quick and we'll install a different OS. I'll use Windows 8.1. That will be my best guess. Whoops. Hopefully Windows 8.1 loads. And as you can see, the log's getting pretty lengthy. It makes a log of everything. It makes a log of everything it's doing to kind of make it super happy. This log here is a great addition for those who are just starting to this. Come on, computer, you can do it. Oh boy. You're actually getting bigger than I thought you were. There we go. It's loading Windows 8 now. So yeah. Oh. So remember, always have a password on your user account. Now here's where recording performance is probably going to tank. But hopefully setup doesn't fail this time like it did Windows 7. Okay, so we're gonna have to put in a code for this one. I will be right back after I get past the code. Or actually, yeah, after I get past the code. Alright, and we're back. Once you install your once you put in your product key and everything, it's gonna bring you to this license agreement, just like normal. Just hit accept, next. You're gonna hit custom because we have unallocated space and you're not performing a Windows upgrade. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna click new, apply, and then once I hit apply, it's gonna create. It's gonna be like, oh hey, we need more partitions, so it's gonna do that. And then once you click next, it's gonna make its own. It's gonna start installing Windows. So I'll be back once it's finished. So at this point now, you won't need a server to be running on your other computer there, so you can close it out now. What we're doing here is now it's booting from the partition just as if you installed Windows using a CD. So I'm just going to take you through, let you see how it is as we do it. What it's going to do is it's going to detect the devices and everything, so I'm just going to step back and let it do its deal. Windows installed over the network. Now, bear in mind, there's a lot more factors than just using your traditional USB or CD to just pop it into the CD-ROM, but with network cables, if you have a computer that doesn't have any USB ports, or the USB hub might be down or disconnected, or, you know, the CD-ROM might be old and broken, it's good to have backups just in case you need them. But yeah, full Windows 8.1, it's working.